think it's safe for me to say that everyone here owns a phone or a smart device. Technology has become a part of everything we do. Phones and computers and iPads are extremely useful, which is probably why they're so common. Perhaps too common. They're everywhere, in planes, trains, and cars, at pools, schools, and bars. I've seen it in the hands of teenagers every time they eat outside as they mess around to find the perfect angle for a food post on Instagram. I thought we weren't supposed to play with our food. I've seen it in the hands of adults who pretend to pay attention to a conversation when they're really lost in the blue lighted screens of their phones. I thought it was rude not to look someone in the eye when you talk to them. And worst of all, I've seen it in the hands of toddlers who probably learn how to function a phone before they even learn how to speak. Do you know what happened when I asked to play on a phone at that age? No, Annie, phones aren't for little kids like you. So what, you may think? It's not a huge issue. The worst thing that could possibly happen is hurt your eyesight. But I'm going to make you see this differently because the overuse of technology is important since that impacts our lives so much in ways we don't even realize. One potential impact of technology, at least indirectly, is depression. The data on this graph paints a grim picture. Depression can affect anyone from teens and adults like you to younger people like me. Depression is a serious problem. It can leave us with no desire to eat, no desire to take care of ourselves, and worst of all, no desire to carry on. It's safe to say that depression is something we wouldn't wish on anyone. The good news is that we constantly learn new ways to treat and prevent depression, and one such method is related to the overuse of technology. Scientists have suggested that people who lack real-life contact, like face-to-face conversations, would feel more lonely, and loneliness would lead to a high chance of mental illnesses like depression. Now, I'm not saying that you should just walk up to someone's house whenever you want to tell them something, because texting is obviously a much easier and convenient alternative. Although I can't say that we shouldn't use Discord, email, WhatsApp whatsoever, we shouldn't completely rely on these gadgets to communicate. However, it is ironic that these uses of technology, which we call social media, aren't actually very social at all. And it's this lack of organic face-to-face interaction that can leave people feeling isolated, alone, and abandoned with no one to talk to. Another way in which we lose out on face-to-face social interaction is gaming. Just as a warning, I myself is not a gamer, so maybe I just don't get it. But many people, including lots of my friends and maybe some of you, game. Constant gaming has even been listed as a medical disorder. People spend a vast amount of their time, energy, and money to disconnect from those around them and interact with people they don't really know. People have also started to stop experiencing real-life events directly. They are starting to think that looking at other people's YouTube videos about going to the beach is just as good as going to the beach yourself, especially children and teenagers. Slowly, many people started to act as if life has become something that is experienced through the prism of digital media rather than firsthand. And perhaps most terrifying of all, even when we are physically present, we aren't truly there. Maybe you're having a face-to-face conversation, but keep on looking at your phone. Or maybe you're playing soccer instead of some video game, but in between playing, you check your Facebook constantly. Maybe you're going to the beach, but instead of looking at the sea, you're looking at your screen. There was this one time when I was in first grade. My teacher told us about his weekend at Disneyland. After he and his children played for a while in the park, they went to see the parade. The parade was a famous attraction at the park, so he wasn't surprised to find a crowd of people already there. But he was extremely disappointed when he saw so many people were looking at the parade but through their phones while they were recording it. The class thought it was all fine since they might be recording it so they can remember that moment forever. But then he said something nobody in the class has thought of. He said, "Why do you need to take so many videos when you know you're probably never going to look at them ever again?" It is surprising and it is true, because if you think about it, you barely look through your photos. You might go through them right after you take them, or maybe once in half a year. But people don't normally look back at their photos because they're always so busy, or just have better things to do. Those people at the parade were literally looking through that digital screen when the real thing is happening right in front of their eyes. Also, the class mentioned that that moment was important. But if that moment was so important and memorable, then you should most definitely be able to remember it. So why take a picture of everything and miss out on the moment when you don't have to? One Instagram post of that video isn't worth you missing out on life. Why rely on technology on unnecessary things? Why not go outside and hang out with your friends instead of staying at home on your couch and staring at the TV screen? Go outside and live your life to the fullest. Be happy, stay healthy, and don't get addicted to technology. Technology is supposed to be a tool for connectivity, yet the way we often use it achieves the opposite. Use it in moderation and be sure that your friends aren't reduced to followers on Instagram, and that your fun activities aren't just reduced to some video game, and that you are not reduced to some online avatar and username. Well, that's what many of our relationships and experiences have been reduced to. When I first wrote this talk, the pandemic hadn't even happened yet. So imagine my dilemma when the entire point of this talk was to get people to physically interact with each other and to point out the negative aspects of technology and communication. So I'll leave you here with this. While you may not be able to spend as much time with your friends now, when we finally get out of this pandemic, put down the phone, put down the lid of your laptop, and put a smile on in person. Thank you.